Wolfman's got nards. This week, nothing good.
They say he indeed has nards, and today we're going to find out how much that's true.
Or how little, maybe.
Could be both.
I mean, there's a whole conversation in this film about what does and does not impact a Wolfman.
There's a conversation we had about the Wolfman.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward
Is
to
it nards? Is it dynamite? Is it silver bullets?
Is it just a random car crash? Is it old age?
Is it old age? Well, so if you guys haven't figured out, we're going to be talking about the 80s classic Monster Squad.
The Monster Squad.
It's like the Ohio State University. It's like the Monster Squad. If you ever want to piss off anybody in the state of Ohio, just, say Ohio State.
No.
And they will, oh my God.
Yeah,
they will go.
It's the Ohio State.
No. The. They put the emphasis on.
Yeah, I wonder at what point in the career of that university and that team, they're like, you know what? We're the Ohio State. Like, they're not that good. I mean, they're pretty good, but they're not that good where they demand the regarded name of the Ohio State.
If anybody in Ohio is listening to this podcast right now, Jeff, they're getting in their car and they're gonna fucking find you. they're ready to fucking look for you, man. So they're
gonna revoke your Ohio card?
I take it back.
Don't take it back.
The card. My stand. I didn't like Ohio State growing up. So
did the state of Ohio have the prettiest butthole competition? No. You know what state did? Michigan. Yeah, I fucking said it. I fucking said
Michigan,
it.
There you go.
That's right. Michigan has the prettiest butthole. Ohio State is the prettiest butthole. You're saying it's not a pretty butthole?
That was not okay.
You're saying it's definitely has a little bit of butt tuft on it?
I would listen. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of tuft. There's a category for that.
There is.
I don't know what it's called, but I'd hope it's called the tuft category.
We've definitely established that there is a hair category when it comes to the butthole competition.
More importantly, we are joined once again by Doc, Mac, and Jafar.
I just want to keep going talking about how the butt crack of Ohio encompasses Cleveland, Columbus, and Cincinnati.
Wow. That's like the only cities anybody knows about.
There's Youngstown and Toledo that
Fuck, I forgot all about Youngstown.
Everybody does. There's probably good reason for it.
Kind of like Millville.
Jeff, how do people in Toledo view people from other cities in Ohio? Like in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, we fucking hate Philadelphia people. Is there like a disdain that goes on in Ohio with other cities?
There really isn't like a big rivalry between cities of the same state.
Yeah. Is it just because it's like you're all in it together because it's fucking Ohio?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You're going down with the ship.
Jones, you laugh, man. We have a movie. There's actual footage of you dropping to your knees and collapsing in front of the State of Ohio sign on the Pennsylvania-Ohio Turnpike and just going, no! You're in your great fucking Planet of the Apes moment.
I was trying to really channel Charlton.
Ohio!
Yeah. That was the best, worst day of my life.
Why? Just because we got off of an airplane from Houston to Pittsburgh when it was 80 degrees, and then we get to Pittsburgh and it's snowing?
Yep.
And then you change in an airport bathroom into clothes you were wearing on the beach just 2 days earlier, sweating in?
Yep.
And then we got into the car and drove to the Ohio Turnpike, stopped about 50 yards from the border. You got out, we shot a scene, and then like fucking gangsters got in the car and sped in the other direction to not pay a toll?
Yep. Yes to all that.
That was a great day.
It was a hell of a day. It was a great day for you because you didn't have to get in the suit.
It was also a great day for me because, 2 days before we were shooting on the beach in Texas, I had heat stroke.
This is true.
Yeah, you don't realize when you're going to like the beach in March, when you're coming from Pittsburgh, that sunblock's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
You don't think about that in an overcast day. But you know what? That's an episode for another time.
Yes, it is.
Today,
I don't even know how we got here.
Dave is how we got here.
This is usually when we go off rails. It's either myself or Noah. But guys, can we talk about how this is the greatest fucking movie ever
Wait a
made
minute,
in the
wait,
history of cinema.
Hold, pin that. Hold on. Two things. One, what are you motherfuckers drinking tonight? Or today, I guess, rather.
Dave actually brought beer today. So,
It happens like twice a year.
yeah, it's
I like
it's
it.
officially spooky season, so we are drinking an Oktoberfest from Great Lakes.
Absolutely.
Also from Michigan.
Also, which is funny because like you think Great Lakes would be an Ohio beer.
They're in Cleveland.
Yeah. But it's brewed in Michigan.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
classy
it makes
motherfuckers,
sense.
you.
Yeah.
I am not classy. Because I am drinking a Helltown Brewing Nightshade. It's a hazy double IPA. It is 8.5% on an empty stomach.
You were
Come
going
at me,
hard.
bro.
You were going hard.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
Jones. I thought our 6.5% was going to be enough.
No. I ain't got shit to do after this, so we're going hard in the paint.
All right.
Oh,
It's a
man.
bold move.
It ain't gonna work out
I
for
like
me.
it.
You got plenty of time to recover if it doesn't.
We'll see.
Like that's the best part about like when we're recording this and we start drinking is that there's a lot of time to recover.
This is true.
Or just keep going.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. Which is what I'm doing
Yeah,
from
why stop?
yesterday.
So here's the other thing. I wanted to bring up because I think it's such a fascinating story for our show and what we do. So Monster Squad has been a very long gestating topic for us to
Let's
cover.
get into the history of how we finally got to recording this, Jones.
Yeah, so last year, almost exactly a year ago, our plans were to record Monster Squad. We had just previously done our first PGX live show, which is not in the archives because the shit didn't record, but it is what it is. And right afterwards, one of our co-hosts, one of the founders of the show, couldn't really record for a while. You know, life was getting in the way. He's going to be a new father, and it was just stuff was coming up and piling up, really for all of us. And so we just didn't record. I think we recorded one episode after that. Might have been Steel Magnolias. I can't remember what we did. But we
Yeah, I
recorded
think
one
it
other
was.
thing.
Yeah.
And then we just didn't for months. And we just totally missed October, totally missed Monster Squad.
We had a whole October plan.
Yeah, we had
which
a
is
whole
kind of
October
what
plan.
we're actually
It all went out the window.
which is actually what we're trying to kind of do again this year is like kind of circle back to the
Yeah.
to the spooky season plan, right?
Yeah, so fast forward a year later, and we have done our second PGX, shout out to PGX 2023 live show. It was a great time.
It's a good time.
It should be available in the archives at some point soon when we get around to cleaning that up. But we're like, okay, Monster Squad, it's Monster Squad time. And it's funny, I sat down and watched this movie a year ago. Didn't really enjoy my viewing experience whatsoever. Made a bunch of notes. A year later, I'm sitting there going, okay, we're going to cover this again. Do I want to watch this shit again? I really don't want to watch it again. Like, I already know I didn't enjoy it, which was already heartbreaking as it was.
I can't wait for this episode.
So I watched like a 20-minute recap, watching somebody else review it, just to kind of refresh myself on
Yeah.
the bullet points of the movie, and I remember why I didn't like it.
I had a very similar experience. So, you know, when we were going to record it last time, I sat down and watched it. And I don't remember watching it as a kid. I vaguely remember like seeing it as a teenager maybe. And so I watched it back, and spoiler alert, I didn't really enjoy it either. And so this time around, I went back in my notebook because I keep notes for all of our shows. And the page of Monster Squad notes was directly after our PGX notes. So the timing was like almost
It's crazy.
to the year. And so I also did not go back and rewatch the movie because I just didn't want to.
I think it's funny, Jones, that you watched a 20-minute recap when it's an 80-minute movie.
Yeah, I couldn't sit through all that again.
The recap was just 25%.
Yeah, I couldn't do that again. The recap was more entertaining than the movie.
I am so looking forward to just digging in and battling you guys today.
What, you're telling me you think this is good?
I fucking...
He has been championing this movie for years.
I mean, listen, I used to love this movie.
I was not kidding when I said, are we ready to cover the greatest movie in the history of cinema of all time ever?
Okay.
I cannot wait to...
Well, we're here.
I cannot wait to...
So,
Because, like, as you said, Jeff, you don't remember when you saw this movie. I do. I saw this movie as a kid. I saw this movie as a teenager. Saw this movie as an adult. Saw this movie in theaters just a couple of years ago. And I watch this movie every Halloween. I do.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Available in the archives. We recently talked about Weird Science.
We did.
Where you vehemently denied that those two kids were nerds. The group of kids here who are very similar to the two characters from Weird Science, would you consider them nerds?
Would I
The answer is
consider
yes.
them nerds? Well, yeah, I would.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah.
So to lay the groundwork for the Monster Squad,
But they're also not trying to get laid. So there's a slight difference there.
one of them is.
Yeah, one of them definitely is.
Okay, yeah, one of them
He was the one in
definitely is.
junior high.
Yeah, Rudy definitely is.
And you knew he was because he had a leather jacket.
He did. And a bike.
Yeah.
Well, they all have bikes.
Yeah,
It's the
he was
80s.
down to fuck.
Jesus Christ. So I'm not sure where to even start with this. So, unlike Jeff, but much like yourself, now I have not watched Monster Squad in the last 15 years as many times as you have, but I grew up. It was one of the movies on rotation at the video store that I would always ask to have rented because I really, really, really liked this movie. And I kind of always, as a child, I kind of related to the main characters because when I was a little kid, I was very much into monsters, especially like the universal monsters, like the Wolfmans, the Draculas. Like I would go to elementary school, like your library, and I would always check out books about like monster mythology because I was so interested in it. So when I first saw this movie, I'm like, oh, these kids are like me. They like they like to study monsters too. I don't know, and I guess it says a lot about like the formation of the frontal lobe and like the development of the brain of a child, the things that you like, and once you become an adult and you've like learned what good things are, you look back on it and you're like, what?
I made some poor choices.
This? Like, I honestly was so excited last year to watch this film because I hadn't seen it in such a long time. I had these memories in my head of how good it was, how badass it was, and how funny it was. There was so little real humor to this. That's so much of it's executed poorly. The movie does not age well. And it's just such a strange, it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like the first 5 minutes are really cool, really interesting, and then it just starts to spiral out of control in a weird creative direction. But that's just me.
Yeah, one of the notes I had is overall, it's a very odd kids movie.
It's barely a kids movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure what the fuck this was.
Well, I think it's important to kind of keep in mind too is that this movie, and I'll try to be as middle of the road here as I can, like legit, right? I mean, I can fan all over this movie, and there are going to be parts in this movie where I'm going to get some of my fandom on you, maybe on your shoe, maybe just off to the side. I'll wipe it up, Jeff, when we're done. I promise.
Thanks.
You're welcome. But the movie does have in its own set of what it wants to be. It wants to be Goonies. There's an aspect of this movie, and the producers and the studio will kind of tell you that, in the 80s, we are at a period of time, which kind of also, too, today, guys, really sucks that we don't get movies with kids necessarily, like just good kids movies. Like, we grew up at a great time where you had a lot of movies that featured kids that were good movies. Goonies, Sandlot, just E.T., where they were geared towards kids, but were also made for general audiences. We don't have that today.
Yeah, we don't really get that much.
There are genres of cinema in today's day and age. Comedies, just the general summer comedy is another one that they just don't fucking make anymore to put in theaters, which, again, we'll probably have a whole other conversation about that. But this movie definitely wants to try to be Goonies. The problem is, you can't be Goonies. The Goonies never say die. But, there's just something about trying to emulate what somebody else does. You're never going to do it as well.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of that in cinema today, because especially in today's franchise success-driven market, everybody wants to try to capitalize on the next big thing. As we talked about a couple episodes ago about how get ready for the Barbie train. That sounded a lot more dirtier than I really anticipated, than I expected it to. But, maybe I didn't. Who the fuck knows?
You know what you were doing.
I know.
The whole time.
It was a 15-minute way just to kind of get us into saying that. But yeah, so you still had echoes of that in Hollywood, and I think that's one of the first things about this movie that I would criticize, is that it would have been better standing on its own than trying to emulate something that came before it.
Yeah, so The Goonies came out in 1985. This movie came out in August of 1987, leading up to Halloween season. Great time to release what would be a Halloween cult classic. Poor choice of release date. They released it right around the same time as The Lost Boys, which was a fucking massive hit.
Man, I can't wait to talk about that.
And this movie was not that. It was released by TriStar Pictures.
TriStar Pictures.
They had a budget of $12 million, and they made less than $4 million.
I wonder why.
It was considered quite the bomb in the box office. Written by Fred Decker, who didn't even know this movie was any good until someone told him 20 years later that people were still watching it. And also written by Shane Black, who infamously wrote Iron Man 3.
Is in Predator, wrote and directed the latest Predator movie.
Yep. Last Action Hero.
Yep. They also worked
Lethal
on
Weapon.
Lethal Weapon. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, and a big part of this movie, a big part of why I particularly enjoy this movie, is that the fucking GOAT, Stan Winston, and the Stan Winston studio created the practical effects for this movie, created the suits for the different monsters that are in this movie, which, to me, in my life, the seminal images I have of Dracula, of Frankenstein's monster, of the Wolfman, God nards, of the creature from the Black Lagoon, and of Mummy are from this film.
That's unfortunate, Dave. Can I tell you? Look, brother.
Gilman,
like Creature from the Black Lagoon is like the best looking thing. The Mummy's good. Wolfman looked like a goddamn badger. And I love me some lycanthropy. I know the history of lycanthropy, werewolfism, the whole 9 yards. But that was not a werewolf. I don't know what the fuck that was.
It wasn't a badger.
It looked like a fucking badger.
I don't think it was a badger.
somewhere in between.
His face. That was not a wolf face. It doesn't matter. He did an excellent job regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he did an excellent job. I would say that when I think about werewolves, though, I think of Howling personally, but that's just me. I feel, but the Gilman and the Mummy were like the best looking monsters in the whole fucking thing.
You didn't think Dracula was one of the best looking monsters in that. You do know that like a lot of people will say that the depiction of Dracula in this is almost one of the seminal portrayals of Dracula.
No one fucking says that.
People say that.
Who the fuck says that?
I found it online. People said that.
I did read that on the
online.
internet. Yeah.
See, Jeff found it too.
I read that on the internet.
You can find anything online. Doesn't mean it's true.
Do you know Liam Neeson was in the running to play Dracula in this movie?
He was.
Wait, can I? Let's rewind that for a second. Some people actually think that that's like the
best
de facto
Dracula.
depiction of Vlad the fucking Impaler. Are you shitting me right now?
No, serious.
True. I don't feel that way, but I read it on the internet.
He looks like Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi, who did it better than that guy. That's Dracula. Don't shake your head at me.
I'm just saying, the internet never lies.
Yes, they do. Are you okay, Dave?
Just to throw this out there.
I could spend 20 minutes on this conversation because I'm actually a little offended that people actually think that.
Decent makeup and animatronics by Stan Winston aside, there's a reason Universal, who owns the rights to every one of these monsters, said, no, we want no part of this movie.
Wait, hold on. I could take Jeff, put makeup on him, make him look pale, slick his hair fucking back, and put him on a cape. That's what they fucking did. There was nothing unique about that look. There's nothing. It's not the look when it comes to Dracula. It's the acting.
Well, the actor did a good job with it.
Brother.
If you could see, listeners at home,
serious?
if you could
Yes.
see the look that Doc is giving back right now.
Like, wait.
It's gold.
No. See, when it comes to any other monster, it's the look combined with the acting. But it's mostly the look. It's the body mechanics. It's the body English, as they say. With Dracula, it's everything else. Because anybody can look like a fucking vampire. It doesn't take. You could look like a vampire. I could look like a vampire. I've seen Vampire in Brooklyn. I could pull it off. No. Fuck, Eddie Murphy did a better job as a fucking vampire than that schmuck in that movie.
I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
man.
I don't
he
know about
did.
that. I don't know about
he
that.
fucking look. Oh boy! And
I actually thought-
18 minutes in, and I'm like fired up about that.
Oh, that's what I said. This is gonna be a fun
said
episode.
That. I cannot believe you said that.
But I really
My palms are sweaty. I'm so irritated by that.
Is there vomit on your sweaty? Is there vomit on your sweater already, Mom?
No,
Spaghetti?
because motherfucker, I didn't eat breakfast. We established I have not eaten.
Are your knees weak?
A little bit. Thankfully, I'm sitting.
Good thing you're sitting down.
Yeah.
Obviously we'll kind of come back to that. So
We better.
So, now Jeff, you did mention something I think is a really good point. Is that Universal owns the rights to the portrayal of these characters, and even recently tried to restart the MonsterVerse with Tom Cruise's version of the Mummy.
Yep.
And they're getting, and of course, even 15 years before that, when they tried to do Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman in the role of the title character. And man, they invested a lot of money into that particular version.
It's interesting how much they've fucked that up over the years.
Yeah. Because again, these are, and I think that's important to kind of keep in mind too, is that these are difficult characters to get across to people. And I'm not going to sit there and say this particular movie does it in such a way that is successful or not. But in terms of just trying to build these characters back into the cultural zeitgeist, it's not easy to do. Especially in today's day and age, it's hard to relate to characters that have been established for 100 years in cinema.
It's easier than they make it out to be.
Probably would be.
It's easier.
They're just not good at it, maybe.
That could be another part of it too.
The issue, and who am I? Just some fucking guy in Pittsburgh. But the issue with recreating the mythic aura of the Universal monsters, it's not about plucking them out and then putting them in our day and age. This shit's not going to work. It doesn't make sense because we have social media, we have cell phones, we have smart cameras. If they were to recreate the Universal world, it doesn't have to be, it can be a shared universe, which I think is a really cool idea, like the direction we're kind of going in, but they can't be connected in like real time. But it all takes place in the same universe over the course of 300 years, right? So you can make a mummy movie, but let that shit take place in like, I don't know, like the 1400s somewhere. Like, I kind of one of the things I wrote about this movie, Monster Squad, is I feel like it would have been a more enjoyable film. I probably would have vibed with it more in retrospect as an adult now if it were a period piece. Imagine this movie taking place in the Wild West. Like, the whole vibe would be very different. You could still have like the Rugrat children who are chasing monsters. It's the same concept, but in a world where that's a bit more believable for people. I think that would be way more interesting. You know what I mean? Or the movie could take place even farther back during the Salem witch era. Like, there's ways to make the story work in a way that would lean into the fear of the unknown, the fear of monsters and demons and spirits and vampires and creatures from the deep, and still be the exact framework of the story. But I think it would be executed in a way that would stand out personally. But hindsight's always 20/20.
Next time. Get them next time.
Yeah,
We'll get him next
Dave,
time.
get on that one.
I actually thought a little bit too while I was watching this again recently about just if I was making this movie, how would I make it? And I'm not usually a big fan of remakes in general.
They should be remade.
You know what? I actually think if they would remake this, I think if they would do this movie, there is, because this movie is cult status. This movie has a cult following there. I mean, a couple years ago, Steph and I went and saw this down at the Waterfront. They were doing their classic movie Wednesdays, and that theater was packed. Just completely. Probably more people are watching that movie in theaters today in classic rewatches and actually went and saw it in theaters when it was released originally.
Yeah.
Because again, a lot of people like myself grew up with this movie. And this movie, and aged with this movie, and we still have a fondness for it. But the movie starts out in 100 years ago. So let's say like probably 1887, 1885, somewhere in that range. And it's a monster hunt. And I love the opening crawl, because we do kind of get like a little Star Wars crawl where they're kind of setting the stage here for the pursuit of Dracula by Van Helsing. And
red text on black is hard to read.
Yep.
But they do that in I agree. And they did that didn't they do that in Bram Stoker's Dracula as well? They did the red text on black when they did the kind of the prologue.
Pretty sure they did.
For
That's a
the
conversation.
Gary
the other day,
Oldman,
that fucking movie.
Keanu Reeves.
That's a weird ass movie.
That is a weird ass movie. But yeah, they do that little opening crawl, and they're talking about what they're supposed to. Trying to pull it up here because I had an idea about doing that as part of the intro too.
Oh, you should have done that.
About how they well, if I would have done this as your version, I'd be like, how did they make this movie? They failed.
Man, let me fucking tell you.
But yeah, the opening crawl talks about how 100 years before the story begins, it was a time of darkness in Transylvania, a time when Dr. Abraham Van Helsing and a small band of freedom fighters. I love that.
Freedom
a small
fighters?
band of freedom fighters.
We're a small band of freedom fighters.
Yeah, we really are.
We fight for someone's freedom.
We're fighting for the freedom of your ear holes, ladies and gentlemen.
You hear that? You like that? I bet you do.
Yeah, you do. You filthy little sluts, you.
Wow, okay.
Sorry.
I got darker than I expected.
I channeled some Noah there. I don't know.
They didn't ask for that.
I'm sorry. Listen,
Consent is important in
ladies and gentlemen, I
folks.
apologize. I apologize for getting too close and letting the voice kind of get a little bit whispery and raspy there for you. My bad.
There's
everybody.
nothing raspy about that.
People are absolutely turning off.
Raspy is
People
not
are
what that was.
No, it's not actually.
Not raspy. I love it.
People are either now tuning in or shutting off. It's one of those
Right.
two. Yeah. Small band of freedom fighters conspired to rid the world of vampires and monsters, and to save mankind from the forces of eternal evil. They blew it.
That beginning part of the movie, like just that the whole deal in Transylvania was like, to me, like the best part of the film.
Yeah.
Because it does set a vibe, it sets like a tone, and then it proceeds to not follow through with any of it after that.
I think in one of the original treatments of the film, they wanted it all in that style and sort of in that era. And
That's what I'm saying.
And then it was way more than what they had budget for.
Well,
So
always
we'll
more.
make it the first 5 minutes and that's it.
I think
we'll set the story about some stupid MacGuffin amulet that
There's
really
always a
doesn't
MacGuffin.
matter. At the end of the day, it's just like, oh, here's Dracula. He's going to move in upstairs where we're hiding this fucking amulet. And fast forward 100 years, and these asshole kids who love monsters now have to fight monsters.
Well, he didn't move in next door. I mean, that was Van Helsing's mansion.
I said upstairs.
Well, he knew it was there. But anyway, Shane Black had said in interviews about this that the original idea was to have hundreds of people storming Van Helsing's castle, having zeppelins and all this other
Zeppelins,
stuff.
that'd have been amazing.
Fucking zeppelins. And they're like, yeah, that whole setup would be more money than we have for you to do the entire movie. So yeah, they did not go in that direction.
You know, it's funny, like, before last year, I couldn't tell you the last time I'd watched this film. It had been a long time, but I watched it so religiously as a youngster. There are little bits and pieces that just stayed with me. This intro stayed with me because it was so good. Like, it was just for what it was, for the movie that they were trying to make. Again, it set a vibe and, like, a horror feel, you know? Like, those Dracula's minions, those girls, like, just fucking terrifying looking, right?
Yeah.
But for the time.
The brides of Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, the movie just proceeds to go, "Hey, look at this. This is cool." It's like the X-Men Origins effect, right? Because that movie starts out with a whole ass vibe, and you're like, "Oh man, this is gonna be real. This is gonna okay," and then it just proceeds to just shit the bed all over the place, and no one changed the sheets.
They just kept sleeping in it?
Yep.
Ugh.
Yeah. But
And see, it's funny, Jones, because that's the beginning part of this movie. It was actually the thing that I don't really remember growing up, and maybe it's probably because most of the time that I would watch this movie, it would be on TNT or USA or and I'd kind of catch it right after it started.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Because I wasn't looking at TV Guide when I was 7. I was just, I was just happy to get access to the TV when my brother and my sister weren't there.
Right.
So, but that's one of the things that I don't remember. But what I do remember is we fast forward to present day, and we kind of start off at and there's a lot of when you watch some of these movies from the 80s, everybody, and you know what, whether you come away from this podcast of this movie's great or this movie sucks or anything else, go watch some of these 80s movies, because like if you like Stranger Things, that's all they're doing is ripping off all of these fucking movies.
But they did it a lot better.
Don't you put them in the same fucking category?
I didn't say they're in the same category.
Listen, I don't want this whole episode to be me and you fighting, but like this
it's
is where
going
we're going to be.
I'm here for
Unfortunately,
it.
it's going to be.
Because
I know. I don't want it to
Stranger
be.
Things, listen, they are not even in the same fucking book.
I didn't say they were.
They're not in the same fucking
I
library.
said, but if you want to see how Stranger Things has come, the vibe of Stranger Things is based off of these movies.
And not Monster Squad.
The school looks like they look like they're in Hawkins, right? Even though Hawkins is like clearly Georgia. Like everything else is filmed these
Everything's
days.
filmed in Georgia.
Just waiting to see one in like the latest season of Stranger Things that they're going down the road and like Rick Grimes is just driving up the road. And they just kind of
crossover
They
we
just
didn't know we
they
needed.
just nod at each other. Like that's clearly what happened to
Yeah,
Rick after he
everybody
left
knows.
season 9 of The Walking Dead. But we start in today's day and age, and the kids are in the principal's office, because clearly they're misbehaving, which I thought was kind of strange. They drew fucking pictures of monsters in
But one
science
was
class.
of a teacher, right?
Well, no, I think
Am I
he
making
was.
that up?
No, they talk about how the teacher looks weird, but I don't think the picture was supposed to be
I thought they
of
like
the
took
teacher.
a picture, like an image of like made her into a monster, but maybe
Yeah,
maybe
that's
you're
what
right.
I thought it was, too.
I mean, maybe your head.
Because I think that was the issue. That
that's
was
why
like,
they were in trouble.
because they were slandering a teacher,
Yeah.
while
But
also not paying attention
it
in
wasn't
class.
cool to not be paying attention
Right.
to science class, because science is real, monsters aren't.
That's right.
Just a couple kids doing hood rat shit.
With one of them wearing a Stephen King Rules T-shirt. But we established that the kids are they have an affinity for monsters. They're in the principal's office. They're kind of acting out because they're obsessed with monsters, right? We have we have the main character coming in, Sean. He's the leader of the Monster Squad.
He's the Tommy Pickles. We
He
always
is.
say Tommy Pickles.
Right. We have Patrick, Sean's right hand, who doesn't have enough really to do in this movie. He's just really kind of
Just
there
like
for
the backup guy.
He's really there for the ride.
He's there for sass.
Yeah.
He has a lot of sass.
He does have some sass. And then we are introduced. We go outside of the playground, and we're introduced to Horace,
The fat kid.
the designated fat friend, the
They
DFF.
literally call him the fat
They
kid.
literally
Multiple
call him
times,
fat
which is
kid.
Well, they called him some. They called him some
hilarious
other.
and annoying at the
They
same
called
time.
him some other F words too. But besides just being fat, and of course he's eating a Snickers.
Because he's the fat kid.
Because he's the fat kid.
He's being bullied by the older brother from Wonder Years.
Which is hilarious, by the way.
Fuck the Wonder Years.
Oh, that's right. You're that fucking guy.
Yeah, I am that fucking guy.
I forgot. You know what? I scrubbed that shit from my memory because I'm going to be friends with you.
No.
And now I remember, and them's fighting words.
What would you do with that?
If I sang out of tune, dun dun dun,
Dur, dur,
stand
dur,
up
dur,
and walk
dur,
out
dur,
on
dur,
me.
dur.
Get that shit right. Lend me your ears, and I'll sing you a song. Dun,
No.
dun, dun, dun.
I
will try not to
He
sing
can't
out of
sing
it.
that
by the
song, but he
time- by
can
the
read the fucking scroll from this movie
Yeah, what the
verbatim.
fuck?
By the time, because I found it on the internet, I didn't fucking memorize it.
I got that shit because it's a good show.
Jones is not looking on his page right
No,
now
'cause
because he
it's
just
the
in the
fucking
middle of
Wonder
this movie
Years.
wrote down the theme song to the Wonder Years.
You know what? It actually makes sense now.
When he goes to sing you, every time he goes to sing me a song, and that's when I'm changing the channel.
Lend me your ears,
I'm not.
and I'll
Click.
sing you a song.
I'm gonna put on Roseanne or something.
I will try not to sing out of key. Oh, baby, now. No, motherfucker. Now it makes sense.
It's the first time I've ever heard Jones drop falsetto. Did you
You have
catch
no
that
idea
there?
what I can do. Anyhow,
You don't know me.
You have no idea. I can actually carry a tune if I want to. My point is, it all makes sense now. You actually like this fucking film as a grown-ass adult.
I do.
But you didn't like the Wonder Years.
Still don't.
you actually don't like good storytelling.
Dang.
And the fact that you will sit here and try to tell me with a straight face in front of God and everybody that I don't even know who the fucking played Dracula was the de facto fucking Dracula performance.
I didn't say that was my opinion.
You
I was
fucking
reading.
said it out loud
I did.
for the world to hear.
For the several hundred listeners we have.
Listen,
Yes, I did.
Those in the Netherlands who listen to this show are like, "Are you fucking serious right now?"
Or they're like, he's fucking right.
No, they're not. No one fucking says that.
People say that. Jeff said it.
Listen,
I like that Jeff repeated what I said, and you're putting all of your mirth on me.
Because he knows that shit's not true.
Right. I said I read it on the internet.
True.
You said
say it wasn't.
read it. I haven't thought about it.
Well, here's your chance.
I can't put me on spot.
and go.
God damn it.
God damn it.
Listen,
God
man,
damn it.
listen, you cannot look. And I think my vitriol comes from a place of betrayal because I really liked this movie growing up so fucking much. And to realize it was not good.
It cut you deep as an adult.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there watching this going, why? Why did I like this? None of this is that engaging.
I'm not sitting here. Well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, I think the movie should have been up for Best Picture or anything like that. I don't think that it's going in the archives of the AFI as one of the, 20 greatest films of the year or anything like that. But I still enjoy this movie, even as an adult. There's a lot of things about it that I think are done particularly well. And we'll talk about that as we go through the podcast.
This movie has one single redeeming quality.
Wolfman's got nards?
No, but it is about the Wolfman.
Okay.
Because that was the best. In terms of the monsters, he's the only one who had any actual character development. The dude who plays him...
Played famously by, what's his name? John Grease, who also plays Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite.
Which
Yes,
is
he
hilarious.
does.
Yeah.
He
could throw a football over a mountain.
He actually has a tragic story. You feel bad for the guy, because he doesn't want this shit.
Oh, no.
No,
And
he
it's so
would
good.
much rather be locked up or dead than turn into the Wolfman, and he knows it's going to happen, and he knows he can't control it when it does.
The true bane of lycanthropy is that it is totally outside of your control. And that no matter what you will do, no matter how far you will go, no matter what seances or spells or potions you will drink, you are damned to become the animal of the moonlight.
You're sounding a lot like a lot of people today with Taylor Swift.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Look,
I don't even get the reference.
I don't even know what you're saying. Honestly.
I don't know, with what you just said, just kind of sounded to me like people with Taylor Swift. It's completely out of their control at this point. They can't even help
Oh,
themselves.
that's what that means. I mean, them being Swifties.
Them being Swifties, yes.
Ah, okay, that makes more sense then.
Yeah, people just can't control themselves.
So you're saying Taylor Swift's like a werewolf? Okay.
I mean, she could be.
I mean, anybody could
Have
be.
anybody seen Taylor Swift perform in a full moon?
I don't know.
No, I've never seen her perform.
She's probably a better version of Dracula than the version of
Jesus
Dracula we
Christ.
got.
She has the complexion for it.
But no, the Wolfman's my favorite part in terms of even as a kid, because the werewolves were always my favorite monster. But looking at it now, how cool when he gets killed, or jumping ahead, but when he gets killed, he's like, "Thank you." God damn it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
good
all
for
he
you.
all he ever wanted.
And that's so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Genuinely sad. And fucking Dracula's just taking full advantage of that shit.
Yeah, and it's sort of interesting when you look at the cast of monsters. So Dracula and Frankenstein both stayed in character while the cameras were not rolling the whole time, which is an interesting choice. So the kids never actually met the actor who played Frankenstein. He acted like he was Frankenstein
That's pretty
even
cool.
when they weren't filming. It wasn't until after they were done when he took the makeup off. It's like, hi, I'm where the fuck his name is. Dracula also stayed in character, although one of the things was in the scene where he picks up Phoebe, the little girl. He refused to have any fangs or blood anytime he was around her because she was legit terrified of this dude. And so in that scene, he finally put the fangs on. And so when she screams, that was her legit reaction to him because she was legit terrified. Yes, when he calls a 5-year-old a
Listen,
bitch.
Well, that could have been the stand-in at that point because the camera angle was different. But
again, we're skipping ahead, but you have lived for hundreds of years. You have murdered who knows how many murders Dracula has committed over the course of his lifetime.
Is he really murdering people,
he becomes the king of the undead. When he's just Vlad the fucking Impaler, he's just murdering people on the battlefield.
For fun.
Well, there's that.
Right? When he was actively fucking behaving people because he fucking could.
Yeah.
Right?
That was before he drank blood.
That's before he sold a soul to the devil. You have been searching for a fucking amulet for hundreds of years. You've battled Van Helsing. You've battled Lord knows how many other warriors over the course of your entire undead life. And you are sitting here. You're fucking telling me, after all the bloodshed, after all the lost souls, after all the horrible things you've done, the women and children that you've murdered, the elderly you've killed and drank their blood and damned them to an eternity of darkness, and you're holding this little fucking 5-year-old kid by the fucking mandible, the lower mandible, might I add, and she has the fucking amulet. You're telling me your ass just can't take it from her? Just take it out of her hands. Just take it. You resort to just calling her a bitch. Give it to me, you bitch. She's
bitch.
fucking 5, brother.
Best Dracula ever.
Just take it out of her fucking hands. Just take it. Like, you're strong enough. You're the Prince of Darkness. You can just do it. And that shit stayed with me. Fuck that guy. I said it. And I mean it. That scene, bullshit. That whole fucking sequence was stupid, by the way.
The third act sequence, you mean, or just that?
The whole movie. The whole third act. Yes, that whole sequence.
The whole
Yes,
movie.
Yeah.
The whole sequence. The whole sequence.
Yeah. So we have those two characters. I thought the dynamic of Frankenstein and the kids was weird. It was weird to me.
It was very weird.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Ah, man, I've met Frankenstein's friend.
It was like, okay, it's weird. Wolfman had a great story arc. He was the only character who actually had character.
I gave a shit about him.
And then Gilman and Mummy were just like,
there.
they just glossed over that shit real fast.
Well, what are you gonna do for Gilman and Mummy?
Something.
You can't.
They had no purpose. They were just there because they're monsters.
Most side characters that are like with the bad guy have no fucking purpose. Did anybody like look in any of the I was gonna say Transformers movies?
Don't go down that path,
And
Dave.
give a shit about any of the other fucking Decepticons. But no, I mean just in any general movie where there's a side where there are henchmen, which that's really what these characters are. They're Dracula's henchmen. He calls them to this town because there's...
Yeah, Frankenstein was sent to get the diary of Van
Yeah.
Helsing, and he became friends with a 5-year-old.
Right.
Because that's where his brain is.
Yeah.
Well, and also Frankenstein, in terms of general, monster lord, doesn't want to be a monster. He doesn't even want to really exist.
He was like Vader when he went against the Emperor. He doesn't want to go against Dracula until he wants to go against Dracula.
Pretty much. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what in even in a 2-hour movie, what kind of story arc do you want the Mummy to have?
At least have a fucking purpose, as opposed to, well, it's a movie about monsters, so throw a monster in there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask a serious question, because I wrote this a year ago. Why the fuck was the Mummy in the kid's closet?
Yeah, that one didn't make a lot of sense.
It didn't make a lot of sense when I was a kid.
It made zero sense. I think it's like that classic horror trope of
They
the
wanted
monster
that
in
scene
the
just to have
closet.
the scene.
Yeah, monster in the closet, but it didn't translate well. It was just so random. How did he get in there?
Exactly. And this leads me to my next question. How useless is this fucking character, this kid, and his fucking dog? Like, why did they even let him in the Monster Squad to begin with?
First off, he has a name, and his name's Eugene. Okay? Show him the goddamn respect he deserves.
I show no respect.
He has a My Pet Monster.
Yeah, and I wrote down there, hey, My Pet Monster, with exclamation
I did
points.
too.
Because I had that shit. I used to rent that fucking VHS all the time.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
He also has a Punisher poster hanging up on his wall in that
He's
room.
too young for that shit. Anyhow, but again, how
It's
useless is this fucking
it's
kid
the
and
80s,
his dog?
Jones.
They
It's the
added
80s.
actually nothing to the story.
Yeah, no,
true.
there are elements to this that I will
And he's
agree.
like, he's like 6.
Yeah.
I think he's 6.
pretty
And
young.
he's hanging out with these
Yeah.
fucking like middle schoolers or some shit.
That's also the 80s.
Elaborate, please.
The 80s was a decade that came after the 70s and before the 90s that had a lot of cocaine.
Let me rephrase that.
And kids with dogs.
Yeah, let me rephrase that. With context, with the conversation
he's
we're having.
He's one of the neighborhood kids. I mean, he probably live on the same block.
There are 300 kids in that school. Why did they pick him?
How do you know there are 300 kids in that school?
That's just an
They
estimate.
live on the same
It's an
street.
estimate.
They all live in the same neighborhood, man. You didn't hang out with kids of different ages in your neighborhood?
You really want to know the answer? No.
All right.
Not not that young.
Yeah, fuck that kid.
When I was in middle school, I wasn't hanging out with a fucking.
You don't know what that
6-year-old.
kid did to get those kids respect. You don't know who he cut.
Well, fuck, I don't know because we didn't see it in the movie. There's a lot we didn't see in the movie.
No, that's in the comic books that lead up to the movie.
Oh, okay. I gotta check those out.
Good luck if you can find them.
That is not a real thing, so don't go look for
It
them.
should be a real.
You know what? No, it is a real thing. Let him go listen. Let the one person who listens to this podcast that believes that statement go ahead and start looking for the Monsters Call
someone
comics.
That
And
would
then-
be if they found
If they
it.
found it, they just called us out
I
on
would
it.
fucking look for Van Helsing's diary and start reading it in German. That's probably what happened.
Oh my god.
So there's some. No, I will say this, right. So we get introduced to the characters. We have Rudy too. Rudy is the neighbor, is the town badass.
He was like the Corey Feldman,
He was the Corey
which
Feldman.
annoyed me.
And I actually originally thought that Corey Feldman was in this, and then I was like, oh, that's not Corey
that
Feldman.
is not Corey Feldman.
It's that, and that's really the best. He's a minister now too.
Yeah,
which
it
is
all
kind of
blends
interesting.
together.
The actor who played Rudy is a minister today and married Frank Stallone. I found that shit online.
And married who?
Frank Stallone. He did not marry.
He
Frank
officiated
Stallone.
the wedding of Frank Stallone.
Well,
Frank
because I'm
Stallone.
thinking like, I didn't know Frank Stallone was gay. Okay.
No.
Okay.
And Frank Stallone, if you're listening to this, I did not mean that. So don't show up at my
You said it like
house.
2 times in a row.
Please don't.
But no, he officiated Frank Stallone's
yes.
wedding as a minister, which
Yeah, I don't think any of the kids in this movie really went on to do anything acting wise.
most people that were in this movie really didn't go off and do a whole lot of things.
So was he
acting
like the
wise.
Corey Feldman we had at home?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I want Corey Feldman. Honey, we got Corey Feldman at home. It was
Yeah,
that
we
kid.
can't afford Corey Feldman, so you got that at home.
You get
Yeah,
Jerry Feldman.
Yeah. This might have been a stand-in. Could have been a stunt double. We don't know.
But yeah, he definitely had the Feldman vibes for
Yeah.
sure in
Yeah.
this film.
Also, how does he know how to make bullets in shop class? Silver bullets, nonetheless.
Well, I mean, he melted down the silverware.
I feel like there's a whole on backstory with this kid. He probably killed an old man like a vagabond, and no one knows. He's murdered,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, he's
I
killed
think I-
before and he'll kill again.
I think I read online somewhere that part of the backstory was people thought that he had killed his mom or his dad, one or the other. Like it was part of his tragic backstory, like
That's
why
headcanon.
why he became a bad boy.
There's a lot of unnecessary heaviness that they just kind of sprinkle through this movie. Now, it's one of the things that in my recent watch of this, looking at it critically and not looking at it from like just my usual enjoyment of this, there are a lot of things that I've kind of noticed here that I thought were unnecessary, which is you kind of mentioned too, Jones. This movie doesn't always really know what it wants to be.
Yeah.
The whole subplot of the parents' marriage makes
It
zero.
just gets like
It's just in there. Yeah.
It is just kind of there. And is it there because it's like, well, this is why the kids gravitate towards monsters, because it's their escapism, because his parents' marriage are failing. But this isn't that kind of movie that you're making, so what's the fucking point of doing it? And, he's getting called into work because there's a dude who fucking came to the police station, put 4 cops into the hospital, and he got called down to investigate, and she's like, you can't go down to work today. He's like, I'm a police officer, baby. You knew what you got into when you signed up for this. And, there's a part of me that's like, well, you kind of did understand what you're getting into. Like, he's shaving before they're going to therapy. I thought that was a little weird.
He's got to look good for the therapist.
He's definitely,
sure she's really attractive.
He's definitely banging the therapist if
He
that's
wants
the
to.
case. Well, yeah. But like I thought that was kind of unnecessary. And then later on in the movie, when we get to the thing where Dracula shows up to the house and throws the TNT into the clubhouse and stuff,
It doesn't make any sense.
fuck you, kids. And like I noticed, like when he ran into the house to look to see where Sean and Phoebe were, that her fucking bags were packed. Like she was leaving that night.
It was over, man.
I never saw that before, and I was like,
It's just interesting
yeah.
little things.
Just remember, it's a kids movie.
Somebody who was helping to work on the script was having some marital fucking issues.
it might have been Shane Black, might have been Fred Dekker, because he didn't do a whole lot before or after this
No,
movie.
this pretty much ruined his career for 20 years.
But like also too, this movie like introduces like children to the Holocaust.
Yeah, Holocaust reference I wrote down. I when I was a little kid, I did not catch that. at all.
I did, but I never thought of it as being like an unnecessary mic drop as it was until like I critically looked at it
He knew
again.
about monsters all right.
Oh, he did.
Damn, man.
Right?
What the fuck? Who's watching this movie? Who's going, this'll hit?
They worked that in there with Crazy German Guy, but they didn't give enough thought to give Crazy German Guy a name.
No.
He's literally the Crazy German
credited
Guy.
as Crazy German.
But like, but you guys like, did you guys think that
Was a
when you,
scary German guy.
when
Yes, scary.
But did you guys get in? But did you feel at all like when we like you're thinking you're watching this movie and you're like, all right, this guy's like in his 60s. This is like 1985. So when he was in his 20s, he was definitely of like Nazi German age. You know, was this dude a Nazi? Like at some point in time, and he's like just carving pie for these fucking kids and giving them Pepsis.
I don't know. That's what the kids were thinking.
Well, they weren't thinking about the Holocaust either.
He was not in his 60s.
Was it 70s?
He looked like he was well
He
He
old.
could have
Pretty
been a
old.
fucking officer in the Third Reich. I don't fucking know, but it was definitely a possibility.
Possibility. I'd say
So,
he was depicting a 74-year-old.
But I believe, but I look at it as that's the reason why they put that line in there, is that for any adults that are watching this movie that are thinking like, was this motherfucking, you know, was he just rounding up Europeans and throwing them in concentration camps and shit?
Maybe.
No, he wasn't, because he's all tatted up. He's numbered and he's marked and everything. So no, he's a good creepy old German guy, not a bad creepy old German guy.
Yes.
Yep. Not eat the pie.
Right.
Eat the fucking pie.
It was good pie though. I mean,
It looked fucking not good.
it looked good to me.
You like the movie, though.
I mean, they give the kids Pepsis too. I trust people that give kids Pepsis.
I trust people give kids Coke. I said it.
Cane? Cocaine?
Coca-Cola.
It is the
Coke.
80s.
It is the
Coca-Cola.
80s.
Coca-Cola.
That might be why there was, because like in the 80s and movies there was actual cocaine in the Coke. It was made like the original formula.
Classic recipe.
I've always
here.
believed that that's the reason why Coca-Cola has their original formula locked up in a vault in Atlanta, like 70 floors that could survive a nuclear bomb, because the original recipe does call for pure Colombian grade cocaine.
Only the best.
Only the best.
That's right. So there's some leaps of logic in this movie that I will not spend a lot of time talking about, because what the fuck?
I do have one that I want to talk about,
What,
but go ahead.
Dracula backwards?
No,
Because that was some shit.
that was.
It's like it took that fucking kid way longer than it should have to figure that shit out. I'm just saying.
I remember when I first had the oh yeah moment when I was watching that. To give it context, everybody. So like as the movie starts progressing, you know, we start to see that Sean and Phoebe's parents are having some issues, and you know, they're inducting Rudy into the Monster Squad, and we're not letting Phoebe in because no girls. It's on the
Because
clubhouse
that's
door.
what we
girls
do in the
allowed.
80s.
It's what
So
we do in the
it
80s.
says.
It says right there on the
That
door.
fucking useless ass kid with the fucking dog he's in.
Yeah.
And then they kept finding ways to get the dog
Yeah,
up there.
she wasn't
I
allowed
don't know how
in.
the fuck they were doing
They
that.
didn't.
I don't know.
Rudy didn't either. He's like, how do you guys get the dog up here?
It's a ladder.
But they got Frankenstein up there.
Clearly there's
Frankenstein's
some
not climbing
more
ladders.
going on in this movie than meets the
Frankenstein can barely walk. I mean, he's not sitting there climbing ladders. But again, I digress. But we get to the point where, you know, the kids are starting to pick up because Sean's dad is a police officer. He's a detective in town. And he was picking up some stuff on the radio. You know, a mummy disappeared from the museum. A museum much nicer than that town probably should have.
Oh, yes.
Because this town is really small town USA.
It's any town USA,
It is
yeah.
any town USA, right? And so the kids are picking up that, you know, there was a guy down at the police station saying he was a werewolf and needed locked up, and there was a mummy, and he's like, well, shit. I mean, we're the only ones really equipped to stop it.
Yeah.
That's the best part. They're like, we can do this.
They're like, no one
We're
else
all
can do
13.
this. We know monsters. We're the Monster Squad.
Yeah. But yeah, so these things are starting to come together, and Sean ends up, because his mom went to like a sheriff's sale at this mansion on town, which was Van Helsing's mansion, apparently in America.
Yeah. Any town USA.
Yeah, in any town
Where
USA.
Van Helsing lived.
What are the chances?
And she got Van Helsing's journal, like his diary, and she bought it for him. And he's like, I can't fucking read this. It's in German. And mom doesn't care because she's an absent-minded mother who is doing a terrible job raising your kids.
She's worried about her marriage.
Yeah, she is.
Or not.
Or,
But But yeah, the thing, this is one of the MacGuffin. This is one of the things in the movie that I had a really hard time trying to figure out is how the amulet actually ended up there. Because when you watch the first 5 minutes of the movie, this is where 1 + 1 does not equal 2.
Right.
It really doesn't. In the beginning of the movie, they open up the portal to Limbo, and like Van Helsing gets sucked in. Presumably, they don't show it, but presumably he gets sucked in, because other people were getting sucked in. It's a lot of sucking.
There's a lot of sucking in.
It's a lot of sucking in. But yeah, so the amulet ends up, and that's why Dracula comes over.
What's the amulet made out of?
A talisman?
It's a giant fucking Jolly Rancher.
Pure goodness is what they explain it as.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even begin to tell you what that means. Leaps of logic.
Leaps of logic.
Way too many.
Anyways, carry on with the shitty story.
But fuck you. I didn't quite get how the amulet ended back in Anytown, USA, because who was fucking there to like pick it up after everything went down and just bring it over there and bury it in his mansion?
Good fucking question.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I didn't quite, because you think
I thought the girl, when Helsing got sucked into the portal, I thought the girl who was there just stashed it there. She just left it there.
We can go with that.
But she didn't the girl get sucked in though? She was like the first one to get sucked into the portal. The
You
girl
may
that
be
was
right.
reading, the girl that was reading, yeah, she was the girl that was reading the
virgin who was
the
reading,
virgin, yeah. So no, she was the first one to get sucked in. Ironic.
I guess, yeah.
Anyway.
I mean,
He thought that was going to land way harder than it did.
I was hoping. But no, crickets, as in like the rest of this whole fucking episode. Fuck you guys. But yeah, so they ended up there, and at 666 Shadowbrook Road.
I didn't recall that at all.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, that was the thing that I didn't quite get. Is just how it just showed up there. But you know what? Leap of faith.
Logic.
Right? It's
Leap
a
of
magical.
logic.
It's a magical talisman. But yeah, so the kids realize that this shit's going down because as they take the diary to the scary German guy's house, they realize he's just a nice German guy.
Yeah.
And he reads the journal to him and everything, and they realize, oh shit, this entry was 100 years ago tomorrow.
Oh shit.
So they realize that this shit's going down now. So as in every fantastic, great 80s movie, montage.
Oh, the montage probably the best part of this whole fucking film.
We gotta wake up in the morning, and the kids got a lot of shit to do because tonight they're saving the world.
That's right. Better eat
Nobody
your
else
breakfast.
can do it for them.
Not just these fucking preteens.
Just these fucking kids, because nobody's gonna believe them.
No one.
Because every adult has lost their willingness to give in to imagination and fantasy and myth.
That's very Hook of you.
Because science is real, monsters are not.
That's right. We established that in the first
Yeah.
second scene of the movie.
Unless it's weird
adults-
science.
Science.
Well played. I'll drink to that.
Fucking right. I'm gonna toast to that one, there, boys.
Sometimes we time that shit right.
Been a lot of that going on lately.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we are. And we go into the montage, and, Rudy, the fucking MVP of the Monster Squad, is just building an arsenal for this.
He's murdered before. He probably killed his mom's abusive boyfriend.
Also,
I can see that.
why is he hanging out with these kids? He's like
Really good question.
5 years older than them.
Well, he might still be in the same class, though.
Because he's an idiot.
He's not an idiot. He just has trouble at home, and he's not passing his classes.
He has pre-algebra with the fucking main character.
The 80s did not care about passing you to the 6th grade or 7th grade if you weren't actually getting through it. It's not like today. It's like, well, we have to let the kids go through because if we don't, they're going to feel behind and their feelings are going to be hurt. We can't have that for
I'm
my
not
little
sure which
Billy.
one is worse, not passing the kids or passing the kids. That's a conversation.
It is.
Because I knew some kids who just were not passed, and they were mercilessly made fun of. I'm not sure what was worse. Just push that motherfucker along. Get him out. Get him the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you just round the grades up? Not for Rudy. Rudy's clearly smoking.
Oh my god, that kid's a shithead.
Yeah.
And he's violent, apparently.
And he's taking pictures of Patrick's sister.
Through the window.
through the window,
Creep.
who is a virgin.
I need to
Maybe.
we and we're not going to do this, but man, it'd be interesting to have like a little episode, like a mini episode, where like we just like headcanon these fucking characters. Like this fucking kid. What if his parents were monster hunters?
It's possible
What if his parents
They're
were
just dead.
monsters?
because
They're dead.
his parents knew, or because when they were testing during the monster test, when they're trying to see if Rudy can be in the club or not. They ask how many different ways are there to kill Wolfman, and he goes, silver bullet. Oh, and what else? He's like, there's nothing else. He's like, yeah, there is. All right, then fucking what is it? And they're like, crippling debt, existential midlife crisis.
Yes, that'll kill you.
Lung cancer. They should have said that and look right fucking at him. Like, what's another way to kill werewolf? Lung cancer.
Jesus Christ.
Just deadpan, like looking him in the eyes.
That's the one thing that was missing in this movie. Just a full-on wall break moment.
Yeah.
Could have used it.
Yeah.
I don't know where it would have fit in, but we could have used it.
We just found it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the remake that we're gonna do. Look, if somebody gave me $12 million to make this fucking movie over, I would fucking do it.
First of all, you need way more than $12 million to make it right.
Yeah, there's been a number of remakes, redevelopments, and remakes of this movie that have been in the works over the years. Most recently with one Mike Bay, which ultimately ended up getting canned. But
Thank God for that. He had a shit all over that.
Well, the whole movie would have taken place at sunset.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because there's a Wolfman involved.
There is. They fucking made it work.
I don't know how they would have made that
Never
work.
would have worked.
I don't know.
How about speaking of Wolfman? How about fucking Dracula tying up Wolfman in the house to keep him
Cold
from
as hell,
leaving,
man. That is a cold-ass
and
move.
fucking drugging the shit out of him to sedate him and keep him from leaving so he can use his Wolfman
I'm
prowess.
telling you, Wolfman had the best thing going on in this whole film because you're like, this poor motherfucker.
Yeah,
he just wants to be left alone.
yeah, his character was the only one who had substance.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing, because you could see the inner conflict, and if you know anything about any werewolf movie or story ever, there's that conflict of, I don't want to be the Wolfman because I know what fucking happens and I can't control it.
I will disagree with you.
Teen Wolf.
I swear to God.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf 2.
Twilight.
Okay, I'm gonna drop a question on you, motherfuckers.
We're not fucking talking about Twilight.
Yeah,
Get
we
the
will
fuck out of here
never
with
talk
that
about
sparkly
that.
bullshit right now.
What's your favorite werewolf movie? And look, and I get Teen Wolf, and I love myself some Teen Wolf. I don't put it in the same category because it's not a horror film. Your favorite werewolf movie. You may not even have one. I mean, it's cool.
Mine was Silver Bullet.
Oh shit, that's a solid horror film.
Yeah.
I forgot about that shit.
It was scary as shit. If Wolfman would have looked like the fucking werewolf in Silver Bullet, I would have bought that shit.
Oh, I forgot about Silver Bullet. Goddamn. Actually, it still doesn't dethrone my pick, but actually, that's a really
It's
good
fucking
decision.
up there.
Oh man,
Dave's looking right now. He's never watched any werewolf movies.
No, I can't. No, I
Outside of
can't.
Teen
I
Wolf
can't remember.
and Monster Squad.
I can't remember the name of the movie. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to find it here.
I
Hold
will
on.
say, it's always been a weird thing for me.
Thriller.
Jesus Christ.
Thriller.
That's good. That's good. That's pretty good. Wolf is my favorite. You ever see Wolf?
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Respect.
It wasn't scary necessarily, but it was such a cool take on.
Yeah, it was
story.
Yeah, it was.
That's
a little
Jack
different.
Nicholson's
Yeah,
one, right?
Michelle
Yeah,
Pfeiffer.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking of here.
Fucking loved. I remember seeing that. I didn't see it in theaters. My parents didn't fucking take me to see that. But I saw it. The first time I ever saw it was on Fox. It was a matinee movie.
Yeah.
And I was so holy shit. And then I got on VHS because I'm I gotta see this the full thing, and it's really good. And then obviously the Howling, the first Howling is
Howling's great.
Yeah.
God damn. There's fucking 5 Howling movies. They all increasingly get worse and more ridiculous, but the first one's so fucking good. And Werewolf in Paris. American Werewolf
Werewolf in
London.
Paris.
Or it was London, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, American Werewolf in London. They did have an American Werewolf in Paris as well.
There's so many there's not enough good werewolf movies anymore. There was this period where they're let's make a werewolf
Yeah,
movie.
people were vibing hard on werewolves.
Yeah.
Well,
I
now,
guess that shit.
well, then fucking Twilight happens, and everybody's vibing hard
ruined it.
on werewolves and vampires in a different way, because they're all fucking like, now they're like teen sex symbols. So then MTV makes Teen Wolf, and we got to deal with
I
that
heard that was
shit
a pretty
too.
good show, actually. I never watched it, but I heard it was a good show.
But yeah, so that's kind of the direction we've taken a lot of things. You know, they're not.
They're very young adult now.
They are very YA. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's very YA. And because you had Harry Potter, which did it for wizards, and now we got to do it with werewolves. And I'm just waiting for I think Saturday Night Live did one with Frankenstein. They did a YA with Frankenstein. They did one of those like SNL 3-minute video clips.
The Wolfman wasn't.
I'll pull it up. I think it's pretty funny because they call it Frank.
But the Wolfman was not good, and it could have been excellent. You guys saw Wolfman, right?
Is that the one?
Benicio del Toro.
That's the other one I was looking at too, because I that's the last real werewolf movie that I remember coming out that wasn't fun. Well, because here's the other thing too, right? So Underworld, like, really took the werewolf, and
Well, those were lichens. They're different.
Shut the fuck up.
I mean, he's not wrong.
True.
Yeah. But it's a fucking werewolf movie too. Don't start getting the subgenres of
I'm just saying.
wolf
I'm just
mythology.
saying. It's different. Did you guys watch Werewolf by Night from
Yes.
Yes, it was so good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
It was really fucking good. Yeah.
As a one-off, I loved it.
Yeah.
Sorry to go down that path, but I judge people based on their werewolf movie picks.
Werewolf by Night, I think,
Dave
is
didn't say what his favorite werewolf movie was.
no. It's a combination between the Wolf with Jack Nicholson.
You can pick one.
All right, then I'll go with the Wolf with Jack Nicholson. Yeah.
It's a good.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Monster Squad.
Like flip the whole fucking table over.
No, because you guys, as a part of your criteria, you discredited Teen Wolf.
Of course.
So because it's not supposed to be, it's not scary. So, but I do love me some fucking Teen Wolf.
Oh,
too.
that's one of my favorite movies ever.
It's amazing.
I got the shit on dubbed VHS at my dad's house somewhere.
I'm pretty sure Noah probably has it on Laserdisc somewhere too.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
Dave has it on Ultra DVD, Ultra Blu-ray, whatever that fucking shit is.
It came out for two hot minutes.
Give me a keg of beer. And some of these. Fucking love that movie.
How'd you do it? I just walked in and had some guinea pig.
That movie is so fucking good, just in a general sense. It's not even funny. It's just a good movie.
It is a really good movie.
I mean, there's funny moments, but it's not funny.
So one of the
There's
things,
so many people who were like, what the fuck's he even talking about? Keg of beer. What the fuck? You need to watch Teen Wolf.
listen,
motherfuckers.
anytime life gets you down, watch the final basketball scene in Teen Wolf.
God,
and just
Inspiration City.
and just fucking rally your life.
Listen, Michael J. Fox cannot ball. I promise you that. But in that movie, he could.
He could. Yeah.
Only as the werewolf.
I love it. We're just going to transition to the Teen Wolf now. We're just going to talk
Just
about
to
that. Not this
the
fucking
yeah,
movie.
it's way better.
So
Just go watch Teen Wolf.
yeah. So yeah, we go into the final battle here. You know, the wolf calls the dad at home at the police department, and the dad again discredits it because adults don't believe in myth and fantasy. They only believe in science.
But you could like
Science.
when the Wolfman is in that phone booth,
Oh, that's such a good scene.
like you could fucking feel for that dude.
Yeah.
And
He
he
wants so
acted the
badly.
shit out of that.
Yeah. Well, he only had like 16 lines in the whole movie, and he was
And
gonna
he made them count.
made them all count. And he's like, he's going after your son.
It's so good. Again, Wolfman is like the fucking character here. Like, it's so solid. Because actually, that's one of the other scenes that I remembered as a kid, because it was like, fuck. And he like knocks over the fucking, it was like a street light or a street lamp or something.
Yeah.
It was so random. Mm-hmm. He's strong.
Yeah.
Fucking strong.
So then, we start seeing they go into Dracula's mansion. They stumble upon the amulet, and they now need to go to the center of town to a church because churches are safe, and we need to get the amulet operating so we can get these fucking monsters out of here. Do what Van Helsing failed to do 100 years before.
These fucking
A
preteens will do it.
professional vampire hunter has nothing on these fucking kids.
No, these kids fucking grew up with Godzilla. Van Helsing didn't
They
grow
get
up with Godzilla.
They understand.
Yeah, they fucking understand in ways he doesn't. So
Not fucking Eugene and his stupid dog. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
well, somebody in that studio said we need a kid with a dog in this movie. That's the only way that more kids will relate to this. It's like, oh, they have dogs.
That did not
too.
work.
Didn't say it did. No, he really has no purpose in the movie except saying, "Is she a virgin?"
What he also says, "Mummy came in my room," which is a fucking weird thing to say.
But I'm saying that if you take that out, the movie still is the movie. But like, we need him to realize that the 5-year-old is still a virgin?
I suppose not.
So, I guess. But anyway. But yeah, we get to the final battle. All the monsters are starting to congregate into the town square. And now we're doing battle. So, again, Rudy, our fucking, monster slayer here, is taking out Dracula's wives.
Wait, hold on. We're skipping a very, very important point in this film, which is possibly one of the greatest moments in this whole film, is when Dracula goes to the house of... What's the fucking main character's name?
It's Sean.
Tommy Pickles? Oh, Sean.
Sean,
okay.
yes.
Yeah. He goes to this fucking house.
What if this was that the Rugrats turned into?
So if Sean is Tommy
That'd be
Pickles,
amazing.
who's Chucky?
Well, definitely
But
Patrick.
Chucky
Patrick,
died.
right?
He had like
Or
a weird
was
allergic
it
reaction
Hart,
to
of
some
course.
peanuts or something and died.
Did he actually die in the show?
No.
Oh.
No,
No, I didn't fucking finish Rugrats.
It's a
Sorry.
kids show.
This is a kid's movie, and they're dealing with the Holocaust and marital
sure it is.
infidelity and shit.
There's
arguable.
a point in which I think it was after the Sean's dad's partner get blown up, got by a fucking stick of because of all the things Dracula could fucking do. He'd rip your throat
Apparently,
out.
he just has like an arsenal of dynamite. In
He's
his
like
fucking
Wile E. fucking Coyote.
mansion.
He just has a fucking stick of dynamite. Okay, cool, man. I guess. So imagine you're Sean's dad, right? You've been a cop for like 20 some odd years. You've seen some shit. You've seen some
Not in that
things.
town.
Listen, I don't know. I feel like meth was an issue.
I feel
there.
like there's more shady shit in small towns than there is in big
He's seen
towns.
some things.
And that's any town USA though.
Okay,
I mean,
my
this
point
isn't-
is,
Yeah, if you went to Detroit, you'd have RoboCop.
it's right.
Small town USA, you got Sean's dad.
So he's seen some things. I'm sure. He may have shot a man before in his day. Who knows?
I don't think he did because he really hesitated to pull the trigger on fucking Dracula, even after Dracula blew up his partner.
I'm not saying he's a hair trigger. God damn it. But anyhow, imagine you've been doing this a long time. You've seen some things. You've been some places. You've got kids who are kind of shitheads, actually. Don't pay attention to anything. They don't pay attention in class. You got a loveless marriage. Your partner just got blown up by the Prince of Darkness. You just unloaded like fucking 3 rounds into this motherfucker.
Why did he not get out of the car? The door wasn't fucking locked.
Because I'll tell you why. The black guy has to die. It's the 80s, motherfucker.
Damn.
It's what they fucking did to us. Anyhow.
Let's just cut it now. Nothing good.
That would be amazing and terrible.
Just when it's over.
So anyhow, imagine you're this guy, whatever his fucking name is. You've unloaded 3 your partner's dead. There's 3 rounds into this fucking thing, and he doesn't blink. And Dracula has then the audacity to turn to a goddamn bat and fly off into the darkness, not before threatening the life of your fucking children. What do you do?
How do you react to that?
Do you just drive off to another city and start over?
Like, well, dude's a bat now. Like fuck this.
What do I do with this?
I quit.
How do you
Here's my
reconcile
badge and my
this
gun.
moment in life?
Well, I feel like his fucking wife is very underwhelmed at the situation, considering dynamite just blew the fuck up out of like her backyard. And another explosion happens in front of the house, and she just walks out after preparing to leave her family in the middle of the night.
Because she's an asshole.
She is an asshole. And also the mom in the Goonies, oddly enough.
That is also weird.
That's the most Goonies they could get in this movie.
She passed away.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Horace, fat kid, also
He's
passed
also
away.
dead, yeah.
He died in 1997, though.
Yeah, he was 22 and he got the flu.
Yeah, he had
Died
pneumonia.
from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Wild.
sad. Very sad. Was he fat when he died?
I have no
Do we know?
idea. I don't know.
I feel like you would know of all
He
people.
wasn't acting after this.
No, I guess I guess based on the on the general consensus of this table, none of them were going to get work after this movie was over.
Nope.
Do you think when the guy got the job as Uncle Rico, he just left this movie off his resume?
I hope so.
If you look at his IMDb profile, it's like known for this and Napoleon Dynamite, and like you have to dig deep to find Monster Squad
It's
on there.
amazing. There's a reason why. But yeah, so the final battle.
Yeah. Final battle. Well, no, because I wanted to talk about them kicking Wolfman in the nards, because that didn't happen in the final battle. That happened when they were at the
It
house.
happened before.
There's-
They blew him up with dynamite,
They did. Well,
and he put himself back together because dynamite does not kill Wolfman.
Nope.
I have that note in here. Dynamite does not kill a Wolfman. But yeah, the great classic scene, the classic quote in this movie that a lot of people have that have fondness for it, not Herb, is they're stuck in the hallway and Wolfman at Dracula's mansion, and Wolfman's
Yep.
coming down on him, and he's like, kick him in the nards. Wolfman's got nards. Kick him in the nards. He just goes and kicks him, and he's like, Wolfman's got nards. So,
Because anatomy and physiology is a real fucking thing, and if these fucking kids paid attention in class, they'd know that mammals have fucking testicles. Just saying.
There you go.
More importantly,
Sean knew that.
They should have spent less time drawing monsters in class.
Oh, here we go.
Horace wasn't even in the class. He wasn't even in detention with Sean and Patrick. Horace was out in the fucking schoolyard having, like, snacking down on a Snickers. All right?
snacking down.
So, you know, there's no reason for him not to know. Like, Sean should not know that Wolfman's got nards, because Sean's the one who's fucking around in science class. Horace has no excuse for
I never
this.
said Horace was smart. He's clearly not.
You gonna call him fat? You gonna fat shame him?
I mean, they literally called him the fat kid
I said,
like
that's
his
16
name.
different
you
That's
gonna
his
fat
name.
shame him.
No.
Good.
Because I'm not a horrible person.
Good.
And I'm not an 80s movie. More importantly, here's the other issue I have with that whole scene. And as a little kid, as always, you always remember it differently. Wolfman's got nards. Yeah. Okay, cool. I refuse to believe that kids at that time period and that age said nards, not nuts. I refuse to believe it.
I thought it was an odd choice of
I
words.
feel like they chose nards to make it more kid friendly, but what the
to
fuck?
make it funny.
They were already like dipping the toes in some weird like not so kid. Just say nuts at that point. Let's say balls. Something
Kick him in the balls.
like nuts translates way better just hearing it because
Yeah.
nards sounds silly. It's like, does he have nards? I don't think I even have. I have nuts. I don't think I have nards.
I had nards once.
I had nards until they dropped and they became nuts. Yeah, so we'll go with that.
So the question is, does Wolfman have nards?
I think it's nuts, probably not nards.
It depends on how old of a it depends on how old of a Wolfman he is.
Well,
Where are we
you
in
know
dog-
how
where
old
are we
he
in
is.
dog
the
years with
Wolfman?
this?
If he is the Wolfman, he's pretty fucking old.
He's not the Wolfman. I think we can definitely go with that. He's not the Wolfman. He is a Wolfman, but he is not the Wolfman.
You don't think he's the Wolfman?
How do you know?
He's not the genesis of
I mean,
the,
if Dracula is the Dracula, wouldn't he be the Wolfman?
That's a
because
really
I
good point.
don't think the Wolfman. Well, no, because Dracula created other vampires in this, just
Right.
like werewolves can create other werewolves. I mean, I would think the Wolfman would have some level of acceptance of being a Wolfman, not like this guy.
No
He didn't,
Wolfman,
but he
no
didn't.
werewolf has ever had
You
that.
don't know that.
Yes, I do.
You don't know
the
that.
The story of Wolfman is that he was a tragic character. That's the whole point.
Yes, a Wolfman, not the
No,
Wolfman.
like the Wolfman, like the Lon Chaney motherfucking junior brother, the dude who played like the original Wolfman. He died in the movie, but like he didn't want to be the Wolfman. He was sad about it. That's
Nobody
the whole
wants
point
to
of
be
the
the
Wolfman.
Wolfman.
No one really wants to be a Wolfman or a werewolf rather, or she wolf or whatever the fuck you want to call them. So I mean, you may accept your fate that you can't change it, but you don't want it.
But why would you? But so Dracula and a vampire and a werewolf are similar.
Very.
They're
Yes.
very similar. Why is it one thing is totally fine being a vampire, but the other would not be fine being a werewolf?
I will tell you why. And this is not
Because a
mutually exclusive.
vampire doesn't have control over being a vampire.
Technically, no, but they have control over where they get their sustenance. So
Because
imagine
a vampire is a vampire all the time.
Yeah, there's no downtime.
It doesn't turn on and off.
And imagine, okay, so if you're a vampire,
I would think that'd be easier because at least 29 and a half days out of the year, you're completely in control.
right? But hear me out. When you're a vampire and you must feast on the blood of whatever, You will go off. You can feast on animals if you want. You can feast on cattle. You can feast on people. You can pick a fucking
It's
horrible
a choice.
person
It's a
to
choice.
kill and not kill innocent people that you just met on the streets. As a werewolf, versus what some movies will tell you, Teen Wolf, when you're a werewolf, you are no
lose
longer
control.
in control.
It's
You
just
are
an
another
animal.
thing.
Yeah.
You're the Incredible Hulk. You are no longer yourself, and you will kill whatever
Yeah, it's just
gets in
natural.
your way.
It's natural
so
instinct.
you can't Seth Green yourself and put yourself in a cage like on Buffy the Vampire Slayer for those 2 nights a year there's a full moon and like live a perfectly normal controlled life for the other 28 days as a werewolf.
Some werewolves do that.
Yeah. Why is this guy not doing that? If this guy wanted to die so much, why isn't he taking a silver bullet and just shooting himself in the chest?
You know, the interesting part about killing yourself, it takes a lot of temerities. It takes a lot of nerve to do. You gotta really have the nerve to do it. Maybe he didn't have the nerve to do it because at the end of the day, harming yourself requires a lack of, like, you have to have that tunnel vision, right? So it goes totally against what we do. Our whole purpose is to live. Like, our heart beats, all the different systems that work together magically somehow to allow us to walk, to breathe, to think, you know. But to harm yourself, take a razor and put it to your throat. You will freeze, obviously, because you don't want to hurt
I
yourself.
use an electric razor.
My point is
You
that
fuck around with that
I
shit.
didn't mean to shave.
the point I'm making here is psychologically, you can't just harm yourself. You gotta really, really get past that point. And maybe he doesn't have the courage to do it.
So would you say the Wolfman does not have nards? He doesn't have the nards to do that.
I don't think he has the nards to like properly. Like, I mean, he's not. So again, I'm coming back to this point. So this guy, this is why I'm saying he's not the Wolfman. He doesn't have any contingencies to control what happens when he is
We know of.
Well, he's desperately going to the police for help. You know,
Yeah, he's trying to get locked up.
He's desperately trying to leave. He's trying to do those things because I don't think he's had the opportunity long enough to have put certain contingencies in place to protect others from when he becomes the insatiable, uncontrollable beast that
All
you're
it
referencing.
takes is one mistake and you black out, wake up, you're in a whole other fucking state. You're in like a whole other country. You're somewhere you don't even know where you are. Where's your house? Well, fuck, it's like 6 states away where my cage is.
You guys are, yeah, but you guys, I feel like we're really, really like digging in deep here to just say that he could have just done something to.
Well, so here's my thing. The creature from the Black Lagoon was clearly the creature from the Black Lagoon, right?
Yes.
They couldn't say that. That's
They
why
weren't
it's
allowed to.
Gilman.
No,
Yeah.
but that's clearly
Well,
him.
they changed it now. In the song at the end of the movie where they referenced as the Gilman, they changed the lyric in the current version where they're referencing it as the creature from the Black Lagoon. So Universal has relaxed their stance on that.
But so the point I'm making here is that's the mummy. It's not a mummy, it's the mummy. Right? It's Curse of the Mummy.
I guess.
There's just one mummy. Like that's the motherfucker right there. That's the creature from the Black Lagoon, clearly. Unless it's just, his cousin, Paul. I don't know. That's Dracula. But somehow you're saying, well, that can't be the original Wolfman.
That's a
I'm not
different
saying
Wolfman.
it is. I'm saying it could be a Wolfman, not the Wolfman. I don't get that he's the Wolfman based on how the character as a human acts during the whole thing. But
I just based on the fact that all the other characters are the Universal characters.
well, in the Monster Squad 2, it could be about the Wolfman, the one who made him as a werewolf and was stuck. No, he is the wolf. He is the Wolfman. But I just again feel differently that if I had been a werewolf for, let's say, 100 years, that I wouldn't have figured something out at this point in time to, like, instead of desperately going to the police department and being like, you have to fucking lock me up.
But maybe he has, and it didn't work.
Unless it is based on, like, your thing is that because Dracula called all the monsters, I guess he has that kind of, like, fucking panache to do it.
Well, he is the Dracula we have at home.
Yeah.
The Dracula.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, so we get back to the story here. We get back to the amulet. We get the amulet. We try to get the amulet set up here, but unfortunately, Patrick's sister can't get everything started up. She does the whole thing, and he's like, "Well, why isn't this working? Are you not? You're not a virgin, are you?" I got to quote it because I thought this was pretty funny. "You're not a virgin, are you?" "Well, Steve, but he doesn't count." Doesn't count? Fucking love that. I think that's actually a really funny line where it's like, well, no, I mean, I slept with Steve once, but he doesn't count. Like, it fucking counts.
It counts.
Science now says with this amulet, it fucking counts.
Steve.
Yeah.
Steve almost killed everyone.
Well, I love the line too when they're
yes.
talking earlier about like when they find out like when he's taking pictures through the club that's Patrick's sister in the window and everything, and you know, he's like, hey, my sister, she takes German in high school. And Horace is just like, your sister doesn't speak German. All she does is hang around and let guys touch her tits. That's such a funny line, too.
Horace was cold, man.
Kids movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So
she tries to use the amulet. Obviously, it does not work.
Yeah, but the little kid, thankfully.
Yeah. But
is able
Phoebe's
to do
there
so.
because luckily, halfway through the movie, we let this 5-year-old girl into the Monster Squad.
Yeah. And she's able to do the thing, and Dracula has what is the most non-Dracula moment where he grabs her by the lower fucking mandible and threatens her fucking life. She's fucking 5, man. Come on, you're the Prince of Darkness. But hey, whatever. I have a question though, and I noticed this. I have always noticed it, but it was blatant to me now. This vortex that's sucking everybody into limbo is clearly very strong. It's like ripping motherfuckers. The grip of Frankenstein's monster could not fucking hold on. But somehow that fucking dog did fine.
they ran away. The dog was like ran away from that whole thing.
I feel like that dog should have got fucking yanked.
That dog saw those monsters showing up and he just went, nope.
I feel like that dog was nearby the entire fucking time.
Listen, the kids were the Monster Squad. That dog didn't sign up for shit. All right?
You know, I feel like if Eugene and his dog got sucked into that
I'd have
vortex,
been fine
no one
with
would
it.
really care.
It probably...
Limbo's got pizza there. They got pizza.
No, it's like when you guys like in the second Deadpool movie where after they have the whole scene with the train and like Juggernaut gets out and Domino walks back up and she sees Juggernaut standing there and she just goes, no, and just turns around and leaves. That's what the fucking dog did. That dog knew.
So like Van Helsing pops up, yanks up Dracula, gives a fucking thumbs up, which is fucking stupid.
Well, now we know what happened
did
to
they
Dracula.
did
What
they-
happened to Van Helsing.
Was giving the thumbs up a thing in the 1800s? Like, how would
100% what I thought. Like,
how
there's
would
no
he know
way.
to do that?
And maybe it was. I find it hard to believe.
I haven't done the research on that to confirm.
You know what?
Or
I don't
deny.
want you to. Please don't.
I'm not going to.
Don't.
I don't have that kind of time.
This movie is not worth that much effort. And then the monsters. Oh, and we do have like the tragic ending of we skipped that, but I already talked about it.
We pretty much skipped everything about Frankenstein in this, and basically in
There's
this
not
movie.
much to say
He
about
was
him.
going to talk about werewolf.
Yeah, him getting shot and
Oh.
saying
Getting shot.
fucking thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
so
so good.
Werewolf get blown up, and he puts himself back together, and he's there, and Werewolf's taking out the cops left and right, as he did earlier in the movie too. And again, Rudy, town badass,
Silver
leather
bullet.
jacket, had his one silver bullet, knew how to fucking shoot that gun. Mm-hmm. Wonder where he picked that up from.
I can only imagine.
Yeah. And then shoots the Wolfman, and his last. Jones, I'll just let you take it from here. I don't want to take this away from you. I know it's your favorite part.
I mean, it's just the idea that all he ever wanted was, he needs to die. And I like to think that the character himself, what the fuck was the actual Wolfman's name in the movies? It's gone. I used to fucking know off the top of my head, but the dude who becomes the Wolfman, is this, again, tragic character, and for him to get blasted in the fucking chest, he's laying his blood, and he's laying there, he's bleeding out, and he just looks at the fucking kid and like, God damn it, thank you. Like, motherfucker, man. Like, the saddest fucking... That is a story I wanted to read about and I wanted to see, I wanted to learn about is this character, but every other character was just kind of like there, What happened to the fucking mummy? Did he get blown up too?
No, the mummy got...
He got unraveled.
It was the chase scene, and he shot, again, Rudy, fucking Katniss Everdeen, Legolas, Rudy. Top 3 archers in cinema history. Robin Hood's number 4. Goes ahead and gets the arrow, ties the mummy's wrapping around it, shoots it to a tree, and as they're driving, the mummy
It's
just...
a smart idea.
It was. Only people in a Monster Squad would know how to do that.
True.
It's true. Larry Talbot is the name of the Wolfman.
Noted.
Just in case you ever wanted to know.
Now we do.
Larry Talbot.
Now we do. We now all know the password to Herb Jones's profiles.
It's not.
Clearly
Although
Larry,
it actually
Larry
should
Talbot.
be, now that I think about it, but it's not.
But So yeah, and the creature from the Black Lagoon, Gilman. Sounds like my fucking like accountant. Gilman. The guy in the office that gets all the shit from everybody. Gilman, did you get the TPS reports done? You know. But he gets shot by Horace. You know, Horace has his moment where the bullies are too scared to open the door and let him in, and he takes the shotgun.
He takes him out and becomes the hero.
Yeah.
He's probably right back to being bullied on Monday.
100%.
My whole thing is, like, if you just have the fucking tenacity to turn around with a shotgun and blow away the creature from the Black Lagoon, are you not turning around to see if there are more bullets in that gun to see if you can blow through there and just scare the shit out of the bullies that have been fucking with you for years? Making you cry on a playground in front of all of your friends? That kid's definitely turning around with some fucking rage in his eyes because he's killed once, like...
taste of blood.
Like, he got that first taste of blood. And it was just as good as that fucking Snickers.
Oh my god.
And he's going to turn around and just not fuck with them a little bit.
I maintain the Gilman deserved better in terms of a death.
He did.
He just got shot.
He was
any cop could have done that.
Gilman was my favorite monster in the movie in terms of just the appearance. I thought they did a fantastic job with the creature effects.
The practical effects were great. The special effects, like the fucking portal, were shit.
I thought the portal held up
It
for
does
what it was.
It does
for what
not
it was.
hold up. I disagree.
You take those rose tinted glasses off there, Mac. That did not look good.
So all the monsters are dead. The last one we say goodbye to is Frankenstein, which is
unnecessarily sad.
Yeah, it's a sad goodbye. He says goodbye to Phoebe, and then
he flips off the rest of the kids.
Yeah,
he just really was all about Phoebe.
And then he walks into the portal, if you will.
I was a little, so as we're doing this podcast, everybody too, you know, it is spooky season. We're recording this at Jeff's house, and as I'm doing this entire thing, I'm staring at fucking Frankenstein over your shoulder, Jeff.
Yeah, you're right there.
The entire fucking time, just thinking, bogus.
Jesus, that's right. He did say that, but
Yeah.
he pulled a fucking Vader
Except
on him.
this Frankenstein actually looks like fucking Frankenstein, unlike what we got.
Oh, your Frankenstein looks like he's very well dressed.
Frankenstein.
He has a nice jacket.
He has a nice jacket on. I don't know.
His hair is combed.
I also thought it was interesting in the movie, like when they were trying to resurrect Frankenstein, that Dracula just had a fucking like electrical engineering degree.
He just had jumper cables.
And he had jumper cables
from
his staff.
Why not?
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever works.
I mean, if this is any town USA in August, the odds of getting a lightning storm are pretty slim at that point.
They pulled together the dark energies of all of them being together at once, and it created a
vortex.
a vortex of evil.
Yes.
Yeah.
With lightning.
I can make that shit work. And you know what? They could have fucking explained that. Because it made no fucking sense. There's so much in this movie. This movie could have stood to be an extra 15 to 20 minutes long just for exposition.
I think it actually was. They took the studio, of course, because, you know, when would the studio ever make a bad decision, took the extra 15 or 20 minutes out because they wanted the runtime of the movie to be under 90 minutes.
It's silly.
It is.
Because there's just stuff that could have just been expanded on a little bit
There
more.
might be an extended cut of this movie that just fixes everything that Herb Jones doesn't like about it.
Brother, I'm going to tell you it probably doesn't.
Yeah, it's probably going to take a lot more than 15 minutes to do
I
that.
can almost promise you it fucking doesn't. Which is unfortunate because, again, I really liked this fucking movie when I was a kid, and it's not good. It's unfortunate how bad it actually is. And here's the thing. It's not a bad movie. Because I get in these little tangents like, oh, this movie's not good, blah, blah, blah. It's not a bad movie. Like, realistically, for what it is, it's fine. It does its job. I think that it's not as good as people like to think that it is and like to remember it as. I more often than not, movies that have become cult status films, chances are they weren't very good, and they still aren't very good. But it doesn't matter because you have an emotional attachment to it. Then fuck it, it's yours. Take it. It's fine. It's like me and
people like what they like.
Yeah, it's like me and A Christmas Story, right? Even though lots and lots of people say the movie's really good, this motherfucker to my left seems to think it's not a very good movie, and that's okay. It's a fine Christmas film. It is the most Christmas film I think I've ever watched in my life.
According to Herb Jones, it's just as Christmas as according to Noah Brown, it's just as Christmas as Die Hard.
The math checks out.
The math checks.
Apparently so. But that's I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
But if you want to go down that rabbit hole, available in the archives.
Yeah, please do. But yeah, I mean, it's okay to have an emotional attachment to something. I just feel like objectively, it's not a great film. and it's not even like passable for what they're trying to do, which is unfortunate because I remembered better.
Yeah, there's probably, what's the station that plays 30 Days of Halloween? TNT.
Freeform.
Freeform.
Yeah.
This is not on the 30 Days of Halloween.
That's a reason why.
I mean, there are 30 other Halloween films. Half of them are also shit, but they're less shit than what we watched with the Monster Squad.
But also with Freeform, it's a Disney-owned channel, so everything is going to be Disney-owned and operated, or 20th Century Studios, or something that they have rights to. They don't put anything on there that's not theirs. AMC does Monster Fest during October as well. And
they also do not play the Monster Squad.
You're right, they do not play the Monster Squad. It's actually on Showtime right now. Showtime and Paramount have it. So,
and at the end of the movie, we get a really, really TMNT moment. Like, we're the Monster Squad. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Actually, Jones, because this movie came out before TMNT, TMNT had a Monster Squad moment.
You bite your fucking tongue.
I fucking said what I said.
You said it, but I don't have to fucking agree with you. No, I know it did, but it's very TMNT moment. It's a very... It's like a setup for a sequel that no one's ever going to want to see.
Yeah.
But I think I still maintain this movie would have been infinitely better if it was a period piece. Way more expensive. But I think
there's no way they could have got the money for that.
It would have been a better fucking movie across the board. But I'm glad I watched it again a year ago.
I'm glad we finally got to talk about it a year later.
And you know,
I'm glad I didn't rewatch it again.
And honestly, it's probably better we waited
fucking
a year.
Look at me with those eyes and judge me that way.
You watched it fucking today.
I watch it every year.
I'm gonna watch it. And I'm gonna fucking watch it again.
And I don't get it, but to each their own.
I just enjoy it.
Some people enjoy cocaine too, but good.
A lot of people enjoy cocaine.
Too many people.
It's not good for them. Just like
Monster
Squad is not good for you.
But yeah.
Yeah, but like in a couple of years, if I'm having organ failure, the doctors aren't going to look at me. It's like, well, you did that Monster Squad too much when you were in your 20s and your 30s.
Like, we're looking did you do Monster Squad back in 2023?
The doctor's going to walk in and be like, all right, so listen, we went ahead and like checked your records and we ran some tests and everything. And the results of like the MRI came back and we found in your chest cavity that Wolfman's got nards. So, can you tell us what you were doing between 1989 and 2004?
They're like, we have some medication, some IVs, some antibiotics that can turn it to nuts and not nards. But we'll find out.
But the damage is done.
The damage is done.
So
I maintain it's good that we didn't actually record it after I'd watched it, because I was way angrier about it.
It gave you a whole year to fucking mellow out about it. Yeah.
You've still been rather angry about it, though. So
because, Dave, you had the nerve to say that some people on the internet, because that's reliable, said that is the Dracula performance. And who even played Dracula? Does anybody even know?
I didn't write
the people who fucking say that.
I actually thought it was the guy who was in Shawshank and was later the president in Iron Man 3 and everything, but it wasn't that actor. Let me see here. Pull it up real quick.
Being a Monster Squad aficionado, I'd like to think that you know this.
I don't know names of most people.
Well,
I'm lucky that I remember half the names of the people in this podcast.
Lucky I even know who you are, Jones. Like, look at this fucking movie.
No, it's
poster.
a hard name. It's actually a hard name to
poster?
Duncan.
And then the movie's not near as cool as the movie.
Duncan Regehr.
Yeah, in
the actor's name.
Poster, Dracula looks like dude from Talking Heads.
Shit. Wait, what did you say?
Duncan Regehr. Yeah, is the actor.
Yes, there he is.
He's an actor.
Yeah,
he's an actor. He's from Canada.
Yeah, the film was cut by 13 minutes because some executives didn't want it to run more than 90. Let's see here. In 2006, Wizard magazine, that trusted publication, made a list
Wizard.
of the 100 greatest villains of all time. Dracula was ranked as number 30 on this list, but surprisingly, it was for Duncan Regehr's performance in this film. His performance was chosen over all other versions of the character. Regehr's Dracula is still considered to be one of the absolute best interpretations of the character.
So, I'm going to once again, Mac, ask this question. By who? By fucking who?
The Wizard, apparently.
No, the guy in Wizard wrote that. He said it is considered by, what did he say, by
no,
many?
this is on IMDb where I'm reading that quote from. So I don't know if Wizard's considering that his portrayal of the character is what they used for Dracula. But whoever is saying Dracula is still considered to be one of the absolute best interpretations of the character, I don't know who's saying that.
Some fucking idiot. Or as Chris Jericho would say, you stupid idiot.
Somebody somewhere
was very
that.
wrong and have clearly not watched many movies because, goddamn, son, like, it's offensive. It's fucking offensive. I've watched a lot of movies in my life, and that shit's offensive. And Gary Oldman, who did not do a great job portraying Dracula, did a better job than that shit. I said that. What did you say, Matt? I said what I said.
I said what I said. So anyways, that's our review of Monster Squad, a very odd kids movie / not kids movie. But it is Halloween season, so if you want to watch a scary movie, not because it's scary, it's just scary bad, go watch the Monster Squad. You might enjoy it if you're like Dave, or if you're like me and Doc, you probably won't.
Yeah. I'm going to guess you probably won't.
Yeah. But speaking of spooky season, we got a couple more Halloween-themed episodes coming up here over the next couple weeks. What are we going to be talking about?
So we got Halloween Havoc. We're aiming for 1998.
Yes, sir.
Which will be fun. We're talking height of the NWO, WCW, and DDP, and Macho Mans, and Stings.
Less monster trucks.
Yeah,
and more monster squads.
So, no more of that. You know what the best part about this episode is? I don't have to talk about this shit ever again.
It's ending? Is that one of the best parts about it?
That's the end of it.
I will actively never watch this film ever again.
Before we put a pin in this and wrap it up here, you guys pay attention at the beginning of the movie about the movie in the movie, Groundhog Day?
Yes.
And I just thought it was really fucking interesting, looking back on things in hindsight, that the horror movie that the kid wanted to go see with his friends was called Groundhog Day, and we were like Groundhog Day 7 and Groundhog Day 12, and I think the movie that they wanted to go see was Groundhog Day 12. And he keeps talking about how, the character keeps dying and coming back in each movie. And I'm like, we actually got to see that movie in real life.
Yep.
Where in Groundhog Day, the main character keeps killing himself and keeps coming back. And
also in the archives.
Also in the archives. I thought that was kind of an interesting little...
Why would it be number 12? Because we got it in one movie.
This was the 80s. So,
cocaine.
horror...
Yes. Cocaine's the answer for everything.
Friday the 13th got, Jason went to space. Freddy Krueger fought him there. So Michael Myers is still showing up. And we just got Saw 10. Saw 10 just came out in theaters. So clearly we just want to keep going into those worlds with those characters and being scared or not scared or exposed to the gore. There's some aspect... That's an interesting thing to maybe talk about in a later episode is, why are we, as a movie-going society, drawn to that level of exposure to gore and people getting murdered and things like that? Interesting.
They keep raising the bar on sort of the blood and guts and the violence of those classic horror films.
Right. Scream. We still getting Scream movies.
Yeah.
So if there's a franchise if any of it's any good, they're just going to keep pumping that shit out, and people are going to see it.
Yeah. Speaking of Scream, there will be a lot of screaming. The episode after Halloween Havoc, it'll be a really special, nothing good Halloween spooktacular, if you will, because what we're gonna do, we're still working out the kinks and how we're gonna do it and how the whole structure will go, but. The three of us, or potentially four, but I already know our fourth will never have the nards to do it.
Can we, every time we refer to Noah on the show until he comes back, just keep talking about how he doesn't have the nards?
We could. We're going to sit down. Now, for those of you who are gamers, you may have heard of a game called Outlast. It's a pretty terrifying game to just normally. It's a very scary game. It's a survival game. First person, very brutal, very intense, very dark. So what we're going to do is, towards Halloween, we're going to sit down, the three of us, lights out, headphones on. We're going to sit and take turns trying to get through Outlast and just kind of talk about that experience. In a perfect world, we would video record the experience We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe next time. But I think it'll be fun to. It's not the most retro game. It's old.
Came
now.
out in 2013.
Yeah, it's
I wanna
pretty
say.
old
10
now.
years.
But
Yeah.
still, I think it'll be fun to do something a little different and really scare the shit out of ourselves and make fun of each other and motherfuck each other over how we're not as tough as we think.
It's one of
we
those
are.
things we're really good at.
I've never ever thought that I was ever as tough as I maybe even thought I could be.
I know this because I played Left 4 Dead with you.
It's true.
The witch got you every time.
just me screaming from the other room.
Yes. But it'll be a lot of fun. We're looking forward
Yeah.
to doing that. That's what's up on the docket right now. And then we'll come up with what we're going to do in November later on because we don't owe anything to you motherfuckers anyhow.
That's right. So we hope you all join us for the journey. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for tuning in the future and the weeks to come. And we will see you all next week.
The Monster Squad's a great movie. Nothing good.
No, it's not.